I can take the drum. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
I know. Shetadarpana Marjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirapanam Shreya Kailala Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavada Jivanam Anandam Budi Vardhanam Pratipadam Punamrita Sparanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Bahudani Jasarva Shakti Chaturpita Niyamita Sarani Nakara Itadrasi Tabakripa Bhagavat Mamavi Daiva Midrisam Mihajanina Duraka Trinadapi Sunichena Karora Sajisuna Amanena Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitram Jagadisha Kame Mama Janmani Janmani Sware Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaitaki Tvai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mandushame Bhavam Mudao Kripaya Tavapada Pankaja Stitanudi Sadrisam Vachintaya Ayanam Galuda Sudaraya Valadam Gadada Rudalakira Pulakarni Sitam Bapukada Navanamagrahade Bhavishyati Yukaitam Namishena Chakshusha Prabhusaitam Sunyaitam Yagatsaram Govinda Hare Aslishyavapadarakam Dinashtamam Adarshanam Maratam Kurotuva Yatatava Vidatu Lampato Matpranakastu Sahiranapara Adaushadata Sadhu Sankotha Bhajana Kriya Tato Nartha Nivritti Shat Tato Nishta Ruchistata Atha Saktis Tato Bhavas Tata Prema Vyudanchati Sadakanam Mayam Premna Pradurbhave Bhavet Krama Vajana Trimanandasya Janajana Salakaya Chakshur Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakaptubhischa Kripasindavivacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavijyo Namo Namaha. So good evening everyone. This evening we're going to start a new series of lectures in Sri Krishna Chaitanya's Siksastakam, 8 prayers in glorification of the means of deliverance within Kali Yuga. So there are different ages of man, different mentalities of the mankind in those different ages. And if you were to look at it from a qualitative viewpoint, Kali Yuga is the age wherein humanity displays the least qualification for engagement in spirituality. So sometimes being in the most needy condition affords one an opportunity to receive a gracious dispensation over and above what would be normally offered. We see this in human dealings all the time. If you see a blind person trying to cross the street, you definitely give him room for his stick, and if you can be of help, your assistance in his negotiating a curb is given. So he has some need, he's in a disadvantaged condition, and that disadvantage on his part is an advantage in that others come to render assistance. Someone gets hit by a car, everybody runs to give some help. This is our natural tendency to show compassion to those that are in a condition that is worse than our own, at least in civilized human society. One of the characteristics of this age is a lack of civility. So we see that sometimes even the most disadvantaged people are neglected in this current age of mankind. But what I'm referring to here is people of character. And one would not expect a spiritual dispensation from someone who did not have character. Character is a natural byproduct of spirituality. In fact, all the good qualities that one would want to see or expect to see in the civilized section of humanity are there naturally in the spiritual section of humanity. But those qualifications that we may see in the cultured section of humanity do not necessarily mean that one is spiritual. So we may see sometimes the high class man, the intellectual, in the culture of India, the Brahmin. So this can get us a segue into looking at Varnashram Dharma and the divisions of mankind according to their qualities and their propensities to work in a certain way. So those people that are the intellectuals, they're well behaved and generally knowledgeable. But that knowledge in and of itself does not necessitate spiritual qualification. So the point that we're making here is being disadvantaged does sometimes give us and afford us an opportunity that is not afforded to anyone and everyone. Our disadvantage is this age of mankind. At this time. And this is the worst age of mankind. And considering our beginningless involvement in material existence, we can assume that we've been in all the different ages of man. Again, we can emphasize that as old as that Supreme Personality of Godhead is, we are that old. And when we look at things in that way, our perspective should change a little. We're as old as God. We've been separated from Him that long. That's a long time. And here comes a rare opportunity to end that separation. And a unique confluence of events for us, especially in this age of mankind. So this age, Kali Yuga, mankind in general is disadvantaged. And because of that disadvantaged position, we are more influenced in this age by the modes of passion and ignorance than the other ages of mankind. This is known as Kali Yuga. And the other ages, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, just as there's 4 seasons in each year, there's these different seasons of man in the universal arrangement of events. One cycle of those 4 ages constitutes 1/1000th of a day of Brahma. One cycle of those 4 is 1/1000th of a day of Brahma. In one of those 1/1000ths of a day of Brahma, Krishna manifests himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in his original form in order to play with his eternal associates in Vraj, Bhumi, a special Vraj. And in this special Vraj, Krishna plays in a special way. And the specialty of that way is that those living entities who have made a determination to end their timeless existence separated from the Lord are given an opportunity to completely reacquaint themselves in such a way that they can enter into the Lord's playfulness in existence. And he is most playful when he is exhibiting the extremes of his sweetness. This is Vraj, the sweetest of the sweet. So 1/1000th of one day of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years. Each of his years is 365 days. So (365 days of Brahma constitute 1 year, 100 years. How many days is that? So there's a lot of this play going on within one manifestation of a universe. But from our teeny infinitesimal perspective, lost in the waves of time, it's unimaginable, this 1/1000th of a day of Brahma. Now, should we break this down a little bit more? 1/1000th of a day of Brahma. 1/1000th, what that's constituted. Well, this age of mankind is 432,000 years, our years. The next age, Treta Dwapara Yuga, is twice that. Treta is 3 times that. And Satya Yuga is 4 times that. We can add them up. 4, 3, 2, and 1 is, huh?
Is Kali Yuga the smallest?
Yeah.
Shortest.
So Kali Yuga is 1 duration, Treta is 2, Dwarpa is 3, Satya is 4. 4 times
7.
400 and, huh?
5, 6.
A long, long time. Yes.
400, 800, 1200, 1600, 1.2 million, and 1.6 million.
Unimaginable. So these calculations are there. They're provided in the Bhagavatam, the other Puranas, other histories of mankind. Not the histories that we're used to in the Western world so much. We have a pretty limited view of history. There were some dinosaurs crawling around, and there was a big freeze, and then they all died off, and then kind of started over again, and then the crawly things kind of came out, and monkeys, and then we came, and then there was Neanderthals, and from there we came up through early civilization. We call that BC, before the birth of Christ. And then there was a savior amongst us, one savior, about 2,000 years ago. So there's a little time before him. Now we have a little time after him. So let's see, this and then this. This is our vision of humanity in time. Take that as far as down as you possibly can until it's practically imperceptible. And then expand time as far as you can conceive. And that's a day of Brahma. So we do not have a full comprehension of time. Once in a day of Brahma, Krishna comes himself. He displays he brings his whole abode here. It's always here. It's still here. But he inhabits it with his eternal associates, and he gives an opportunity for qualified devotees to learn the final stages of praying. At that stage, the learning's actually over. It's the falling in love portion of going back to Godhead. Complete immersion in who you are in relationship with Krishna. And then you enter those pastimes eternally. 500 years after that event, there is the advent of the Lord again. In one Kali Yuga, in that same day of Brahma. And we have Hare Krishna movement. And the Hare Krishna movement is centered around these 8 verses, which explain the totality of spiritual life from beginning, Shraddha, all the way through praying. So these verses are attributed to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And They were first written down by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami gets a lot of nectar. I mean, he really does. We just found out that his Upadeshamrita was spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as we finished up that. And now we find here that he wrote down the verses of Siksastakam in his collection of verses, Padjavali. And these were studied by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who put them in a order at the end of his work on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, very last chapter of the Ancha Lila. These verses are relayed, seen through the pen of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. These verses come to us as Sri Krishna Chaitanya's ecstasy during his association with Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar. So now we have an order to the verses there from Krishnadas Kaviraj. So these are significant points in these verses coming down to us in succession. Significant in that, first of all, they were penned. They came through the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself to the pen of Rupa Goswami, to his collection of verses he gave as important to spiritual advancement. Then they were put in an order and given again by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami at the end of his work on Sri Chaitanya's life. Not only a work, it's actually a work of Sri Chaitanya's life, and also a guide as to how devotees live in sadhu sangha and advance together as a spiritual family. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita, the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu amongst his associates and amongst humanity at large, amongst, first of all, his intimate associates in youth, and later he preaches, he goes on tour, takes sannyas, and then he lives the end of his life, the final 24 years, in Jagannath Puri with his most intimate associates. And through this, we can learn how to live together as sadhakas, and how to learn through life how to be a pure devotee. From that narration of Chaitanya Charitamrita, these verses, as I said, were put in order then. And the next extremely significant revelation regarding Sri Siksastakam came to us from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What he did is, in seeing these verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita and the order they were in, he was able to reveal to us, as sometimes Bhaktivinoda Thakur is referred to in learned Vaishnava circles as the seventh Goswami. He gave so much to our sampradaya. So as the six Goswamis formed the foundational conceptual orientation, they were the architects of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtana movement. Bhaktivinoda was similarly that instrumental in placing Krishna consciousness in proper perspective for the advancement of suffering humanity in this age. So he saw in these verses, and it's interesting, What a visionary Bhaktivinoda Thakur is. I mean, not only does he give us this vision of the Siksastakam in relationship to Rupa Goswami's advancing stages of devotional practice, which is what we will be deeply entering into as we go through these verses over the next couple, 3 weeks, whatever it takes. I have a tendency to carry things deep as I can. I hope you can go there with me. It's an advantage. So he not only saw this in this Siksastakam, that he also saw in Krishna's Vraj Leela, in earthly manifestation, prakat, visible to us. When Krishna plays within his Leela, that playing is given two nomenclatures, prakat and aprakat. Prakat is that manifestation which is seen by those that, what's available for everyone to see. No qualification is required. Unfortunately for the materialists, they see Krishna as one of their, as equal to themselves and having a material body, and they're not able to enter into what is Krishna's Leela. What is it? What's its significance? That's their misfortune. But even in that misfortune of not fully recognizing the significance of Krishna's earthly Bhaumavraj, Rajbhumi on the earth, even not being able to fully understand what's going on, that this is God playing as a human being, they still get tremendous spiritual benefit. And that benefit lingers. It lingers on in humanity because those truly spiritual people can see the benefit of Rajbhumi pastimes, of the Lord's manifestation of his Leela within human society, and they write it down for us. And in writing it down, well, first it's spoken, but in making it available to us in whatever form, we're able to take full advantage, even though we may not have been there physically to see the Supreme Lord. That's spiritual life. It's that potent. So back to Bhaktivinoda. Not only did he see this significance of these verses in relationship to this to progressive spiritual life, even in looking at Krishna's Rajbhumi, Prakat, manifest pastimes, he saw that the various demons that the Lord played with, this was the Lord's play for the Lord, the demons probably didn't see it as play, but in this play, he saw, well, actually the Lord in killing these demons there's a symbolism there. And he brought this to the Vaishnava community. Look at the symbolism. And the symbolism is also to help us advance in spiritual culture and develop a culture within our heart of how to be spiritual. That actually, who's doing the heavy lifting here? It's not me, it's Krishna. Krishna is dispatching the demons. We have a little work to do, but the heavy lifting, Krishna's doing it. Krishna is, first of all, dispensing of this concept of a false guru who's coming into our very lives, into the most intimate part of our lives, and trying to kill our spiritual life in its infancy before we even get started. Here's this demoness trying to mislead us. We're so immature at this stage, we don't know our mother from anybody else. For practical purposes, when we cry out to be fed, we'll take whoever comes for nourishment. We are so lost in material existence when somebody comes forth and says, I can help you out. I can give you liberation. I can make the misery go away. Because we're so miserable and suffering to such an extent, we said, we'll take it, wherever it's coming from. And sometimes we make the wrong choice. This is putana. This is the false guru. When we make that wrong choice, well, we have to go back and start again. But Krishna, in seeing our sincerity, even though we made the wrong choice, now he says, oh, well, let me dispense with that problem. We'll suck the air out of that windbag real quick and provide a real guru. You can say something that's really significant and really help and really nourish this young spirit soul who's actually as old as I am. Well, a young in spiritual life soul will let a true guru nourish. So very significant what Bhaktivinoda has given us here. So let's look at these 8 verses of Siksastakam. Jaito Darpanam Arjuna. Now what we find in the first verse is quite unique. We find compacted in the first verse the whole presentation. If we can enter deeply into an understanding of the first verse itself, we can see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has packed it all right there. Chaitanya Darpanam Arjuna, Mahadavanti Nirvapanam. He has compacted in the first verse the other 7. When we look at them through the lens of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and analyze this first verse carefully, we can see how this has been done. So we'll start there with looking at the first verse and looking deeply at the first verse in such a way that we can see compacted in it, as pointed out by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the other 7 verses. So the verse begins, Shaito Darpanam Arjuna. Shaito Darpanam Arjuna. Now in Sanskrit, we find that the ending of a Sanskrit sloka is generally the main subject. So we start in our analysis at the end, not the beginning. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. And we start there, and what do we hear? Jayate. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. This is worth shouting about. This Sri Krishna Sankirtana is worth getting excited about. So, kirtan, Kirtan means we glorify someone. So Sri Caitanya is saying, well, Kirtan is a good thing. To glorify someone else, that's a good place to start. That means we're going beyond ourself and at least able to see out to someone else's good qualities. Our material life, our material ahankar, our misconception has made us think it's all about me. Any little step away from that conception is a step in the right direction. So kirtan's a good thing, to glorify another. Well, then it's qualified. Which other is worth glorifying? Well, any glorification of anyone beside myself is a good thing. But not everyone's able to completely take my glorification and give me the greatest benefit for it. So Sri Caitanya points out, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Sankirtanam, this psalm, when we say Sankirtan, we're meeting a complete kirtan, full involvement by the participant and full involvement by all the participants present. So the kirtan is now being more qualified. Sankirtan, everyone engages, everyone that's present takes part. It's comprehensive both in quantity and quality. Then we go to Krishna Kirtan, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Krishna is, as I said, that one personality who is worthy of all of our appreciation. Our kirtan, we're going out, we're appreciating someone that's more and outside of ourselves, but we're appreciating that person who can completely accept that appreciation. He's fully worthy of our appreciation of him. And he's fully qualified himself to accept the appreciation and reciprocate in kind. That's a win-win for us. Other people we may glorify, they're not in a position like Sri Krishna to glorify. And we notice this is Sri Krishna, not Krishna. Krishna's not alone here, but all of his shaktis, all of his energies, everything else that glorifies him is also there in Sri Krishna Sankirtana. So it's pointed out by Swami Tripurari in quoting Gopinath. And the circumstance is such that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming into Jagannath Puri with a Sankirtan party. And they're all Jai Sri Krishna Sankirtan, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Now the man in charge of this area, Maharaj Pratarudra, he's been here and he's seen all kinds of spiritual festivals. It's his place. So he's well aware of all the spiritualists that come to Jagannath Puri to worship the Lord. And then he sees this Sri Krishna Sankirtana led by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's never seen anything like this. And he's seen it all when it comes to spiritual parties. And here's Sri Chaitanya coming with his devotees, chanting this Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. And the Raj, he says to, I believe it was his cousin,
Gopinath's nephew,
brother-in-law,
brother-in-law.
he says, what kind of kirtan is this? I've never seen anything like this. This is out of the ordinary. And Gopinath says to Maharaj Prabhupada, this is the creation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is Prem Sankirtan. You've never seen anything like this, because the result of this Sankirtan is the participants and anybody that contacts this kirtan gets praying, pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No other spiritualists have this opportunity. This is the special creation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now understand, this chanting is there as the means of deliverance in every Kali Yuga. Go back, we're talking about many ages of mankind. This is one age in 4. Okay, there's 1,000 cycles of those, and 1 days of Brahma. In all those other 999 cycles of yugas, there is also this Sankirtan, but not this specific Sankirtan led by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In all those other yugas, liberation is available to humanity at large through Sankirtan. But that's the extent of what's offered through engaging in the Yuga Dharma, the spiritual engagement for the age of Kali. But in this age, when Sri Chaitanya comes once in a day at Brahma, 500 years after the advent of Sri Krishna himself, who brings his whole spiritual world and paraphernalia down and displays his Leela so that people can remember him and benefit from that knowledge, from that remembrance, simply by hearing about those pastimes. They're benefited beyond anything else. So that regular deliverance is referred to in the Upanishads, where this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is presented as a means of deliverance. Taraka is the normal benefit to humanity of engagement in the Yuga Dharma of Sankirtan, chanting the Lord's name. But as I said, this is a very special Yuga. So in this special Yuga, what is added to that Taraka, that means of deliverance, of liberation, is a special spiritual qualification from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Paraka. This paraka means, this term means competent. Competent. In what way does it qualify one through engagement to become competent? Competent for what? This is where we see the significance of Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Who is competent to serve Krishna perfectly? Sri is. And Sri is Radha. This is what Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Caitanya came to give Sri Krishna sankirtana. Competent kirtan that allows one to enter into what? This is prem sankirtana. It gives prem, or pure love for the Supreme Lord, not just liberation as it does in other yugas. Are there any questions? I see my time is expired. So we've got through Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Param Vijayate, Sri Krishna Sankirtana.
It's too bad that there are so many people who are offered liberation. If you look at it like only Krishna and Lord Chaitanya, they're the only two incarnations of Krishna who are prepared to give prem. Everybody else is not privy for that. It's a lot of people who, in a lot of lifetimes and a lot of ages, that don't get that.
Well, that specific prem, which has the competence to allow entrance into service to Ragatmikas. There's certain prem there in, pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, special prem. It's not that that's not there. But that specific prem, yes, you're right. This is offered to those qualified, they're learning, but the true giving of that prem is the special prerogative of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But observing that prem is the special prerogative of the Leela of Sri Krishna.
So the Gaur Narayan avatar that comes like in other Kali Yugas, what's he offering? Is it liberation or Vaikuntha?
Liberation.
So nothingness?
No.
What kind of liberation?
Vaikuntha.
Vaikuntha, yeah. There's no entering that realm without some love. Well, there's some, but it can be passive. It's an opportunity of advancement.
So it's more appreciation as opposed to an active serving love.
Our service, yeah. There's also service there. It's up to, Santa, Dasya. Then we get more specific up to Ayoja, Durga.
So, I just finished reading the story of Maharaj Prithu in the 4th canto. And he was a great king. He loved Krishna. Well, he loved Vishnu. His love was for Vishnu. And he followed all Vishnu's instructions to him. His whole life was about serving Vishnu.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, he went through all the yoga austerities of sitting. He retired from his kingdom, and surrounded himself by fire in the summer, and sat in nice cold water in the winter, and finally was ready to leave his body. And he went to Vaikuntha, and his wife, who served him all this time, served her husband all this time, entered his final funeral pyre, and also went to Vaikuntha. But never mentioned that she had any love for the Lord. She was just a perfect servant of her husband.
That's why we need sadhu sangha. Can't develop love of God, maybe we can love his servant. We get the same benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna.
You
Dulal.